Did you know that when Hideki Matsui, the greatest Japanese power hitter of his generation, first stepped into the major leagues, his production dropped by over 30%? Now consider Munetaka Murakami, a generational talent, signing a short-term 2-year deal with the Chicago White Sox, a team often considered rebuilding.
The shocking truth isn't the contract itself, but the almost immediate, almost predatory response from the Dodgers' local media, labeling this monumental career move as nothing more than a 2-year minor league audition for their team. Welcome, baseball fanatics, to 618 Radar, where we don't just track the ball, we track the hidden intentions and the future trajectory of the league's most explosive talents. Today, we peel back the layers of this audacity and look at the real strategy behind the hidden dragon taking flight in Chicago. The narrative emerging from the West Coast, specifically the media outlet Dodgers Way, is frankly offensive, yet perfectly reveals the self-aggrandizing arrogance of a superpower team. They analyzed Murakami's 2-year, $34 million pact and declared, with zero subtlety, that since the Dodgers currently employ Max Muncy at third and Freddie Freeman at first, there was simply no room for him. Therefore, they assert, this contract with the White Sox, a team they condescendingly describe as a weak club where he can adapt away from the intense spotlight, is merely an ideal incubation period, a mandatory residency program until Muncy and Freeman's deals expire in 2026. This isn't analysis, it's an insult disguised as manifest destiny. The Dodgers Way said, this short-term agreement is purely a proving ground. Murakami is essentially a developmental prospect we are monitoring, waiting for Muncy and Freeman's leases on third and first base to expire. If he survives the turbulence of Chicago, then and only then will the true championship opportunity present itself, reports one furious Japanese fan forum, capturing the widespread outrage. This kind of talk suggests they view the White Sox organization, and indeed Murakami's entire career aspiration, as nothing more than a high-stakes pre-screening combine, minimizing the enormous leap required for any NPB slugger. But this outrage opens the door to the deeper, more important truth. The White Sox deal is not a consequence of being unwanted by LA. It is a masterstroke of strategic brilliance. Many pundits in the U.S. look at Japanese hitters and assume the transition is easy, pointing to Ohtani's unprecedented success. Yet we must counter that widely held myth. Ohtani's success was unique because he had the buffer of the designated hitter role and his pitching schedule. For pure position players transitioning from NPB, the struggle is real and historically documented. Take Yoshi Tsutsugo and Seiya Suzuki. Even the elite players saw immediate statistical regression. Suzuki, despite a strong recovery in his second year, saw his initial OPS drop nearly 150 points from his NPB peak, while his strikeout rate spiked dramatically, illustrating the necessity of adaptation time. For a power hitter like Murakami, whose success relies on impeccable timing and adjusting to the relentless diet of 98 miles per hour heat, guaranteed playing time is the only currency that matters. This brings us to the core of the strategy, the true brilliance of the 2-year contract. In LA, as Coach K, a veteran international scout noted, he'd be a $50 million bench bat or platooner, constantly looking over his shoulder, fighting for at-bats with veterans and young prospects. That kills confidence. In Chicago, he gets 650 plate appearances, guaranteed. You can't learn to hit that high-velocity fastball shift from the bench. You learn it by facing it 500 times. Murakami's goal isn't immediate glory, it's adaptation. If he spends his first year hitting .240 with 20 home runs, which statistically would be a success for a debuting Japanese infielder, he's built a crucial foundation. By year 2, he's internalized the speed and movement, ready to explode for the 30-plus home run season we all know he's capable of. This timeline perfectly aligns him for maximum leverage when he hits free agency, still incredibly young at 26, ready for his first massive long-term deal. The White Sox are not a weak team in this equation. They are the ideal low-pressure launchpad. The conflict now escalates. The Dodgers and their media are operating under the dangerous assumption that they can simply reserve a superstar. They believe that if Murakami performs well, he will feel eternally grateful and automatically sign with the biggest market. But they fail to recognize the immense pride and desire for control that drives a player of Murakami's caliber.
When he becomes a free agent after 2025, his value won't be $34 million, it will be quadruple that, potentially commanding a 9-figure deal. This is where the plot twist lies, the crucial moment of realization for the arrogant behemoth. What happens if Murakami doesn't just adapt, but thrives? What if he hits 35 home runs in his second year, establishing himself as a Gold Glove caliber first baseman, having perfected his defense in the wide-open expanse of the American League? The price tag jumps, the competition intensifies, and suddenly the Dodgers, who are already balancing massive payrolls for Ohtani, Yamamoto, and Freeman, may find themselves genuinely priced out. The true irony is that by treating him as an audition, the Dodgers may have unintentionally alienated the very player they hope to recruit. Imagine the emotion and dedication involved. Murakami's primary focus, as echoed by sources close to him, is on respecting the club that gave him the chance. Murakami doesn't view the White Sox as a stepping stone. He views them as the club that believed in him first, insists one insider. His heart is focused entirely on repaying that faith on the field for 2 full years. The noise from LA is just that, noise. The real action is in Chicago, where Murakami is focused on silencing the critiques about his defense at third base. We need to see significant improvement there. The difference between a major league third baseman and a designated hitter is worth tens of millions in free agency. If he can achieve an above-average fielding run differential over 2 years, combined with elite power, he transcends the need for a specific position or a specific team's invitation. He becomes the undisputed superstar, coveted by all 30 clubs. Perhaps the biggest surprise will not be his eventual destination, but the fact that he may look directly past Los Angeles and choose an environment that offers more money, more long-term stability, or simply more respect. Possibly even a huge deal with the rival Angels, or, even more dramatically, choosing to remain in Chicago to become the foundational star. The 2-year contract wasn't a trial for him, it was a deadline set for the league. This is the timeline where the hidden dragon reveals his true power, and the noise from the Dodgers media serves only as the motivational fuel for his inevitable dominance. We are watching an athlete betting on himself, using perceived disrespect as fuel, and prioritizing opportunity over immediate prestige. The saga is just beginning, and the volume of home runs Murakami produces will be the only answer needed. Don't let the media narrative dictate your excitement for this phenomenal talent. We are anticipating spring training with bated breath, eager to witness the opening chapter of the Murakami MLB legend. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the strategy and the disrespect fueling Japan's next MLB star, make sure to hit that like button, share this video with fellow baseball heads, and subscribe to 618 Radar for more unfiltered takes on the game's biggest moves. And tell us in the comments below, do you think the Dodgers' arrogance will cost them a shot at Murakami in 2026? Or is LA's gravitational pull simply too strong for any superstar to resist?